I've seen a few people asking about dive in the Overwatch League and why we see these dive comps, but we don't really see that big dive like we're led to expect. We have, 4 or 5 people all jumping in on the same target. And I think this is a sign of this sort of misunderstanding about dive that's quite common, especially in ranked. So I do want to talk about this a little bit. The first thing to understand is, although it's in the name, dive isn't really about diving. It's more about the ability to spread out and skirmish for map control. All of these heroes that we used to seeing in dive, they have range, mobility, and a pretty good duel potential, which really enables them to fill out the map and push out positions. The reason they need to do this is for a dive to be successful, these heroes have to be staged. Winston needs to be in jump range, ideally Genji's in dash range too, Tracer's is on that alternate angle. And for those heroes to be able to stage themselves in those positions, they first have to kick the enemy team out of them, or at least zone the enemy out so they can't contest those positions using range damage. Playing for this map control effectively is also going to clump the enemy team up into this nice bundle that makes them really uncomfortable and makes them really very easy to surround and engage onto, to the point where the winner of these fights is more or less decided by the time Winston presses shift and starts the dive. Now, good teams are really aware of this, so they tend to commit hard to skirmishing for map control, as denying those staging areas is often their win condition, meaning that the meat of the fight usually ends up happening long before those teams would even be in a position to pull a dive like the one people expect to see. So to sum up, teams generally really commit to fighting for these staging areas, which is why we see a lot of fights won or lost outside of the scope of that big dive. There are a couple of other reasons that dive isn't so much about diving, and I will cover those in other videos, but this idea of space and map control is really the foundation. If you look out for this next time you see these comps in the Overwatch League, you'll quickly build a better understanding of just how these high-level teams play dive.